Ready, set.
And what should Florida State fans expect from the Florida State football team this year?
There's so much to expect and excite you about the team that I get to coach. I mean, it's the individuals. It's the journeys that they've all been on. Whether guys were there when we first came in the door. The great players we've been able to attract into the program, and just seeing the work they put in. And that's what we talk a lot as a football team. It's always about the work, and to see guys that embrace the challenge. That they truly care about who they get to do it with and what they get to represent. It provides a great deal of excitement for the season that's ahead, and obviously the experiences that we're going to get to go through. But this is a team that cares. They care a lot about what they represent. Being a Florida State Seminole, and I appreciate them for that, and excited to kick off this season.
Coach, to your left side, towards the door, gentleman in the orange.
Hey, Coach. Tony Siracusa from Last Word on Sports. The ACC is a particularly strong conference when it comes to quarterback play. What sets Jordan Travis apart from any of the other excellent quarterbacks in the conference?
Jordan's a special player, and I think the greatest quality. I mean, you sit there and you watch all the things he can do on the field. His accuracy, the way he throws the ball vertically down the field, the decisions he makes. Obviously, good Lord's blessed him with some great talent and being evasive and extending plays. But it's his heart. I mean, the heart that he has, how much he cares about his teammates. He's got a humble spirit about himself, and then he shows up to work to make others better. And, when you have that trait at your quarterback position, he is what I want Florida State to look like. Just the experiences he's had to go through, some of the great success, and some of the challenges that he's had to overcome. Working through a college career. I mean, he's a special person. When it comes to all the great quarterbacks within this league, I mean, they all have probably wonderful traits. I've got a special player and special person that's leading our team.
Coach, your next three questions are going to come from just about the same spot in the back, so follow the center aisle up and to the right.
Hey, Mike, Greg Medea from the Charlottesville Daily Progress. I'm wondering, how has Fentrell Cypress fit in with your program since arriving from Virginia?
Yeah, I mean, he's been remarkable, and Fentrell, he's from the first day he's got here. It's once again, it's been about the work, and not just on the field, but building a relationship with his teammates. Coming in and learning the things that we do schematically. He's just a wonderful young man, a wonderful representative of our program. Going through spring practice, you just saw the way that he was able to transition, and every day he worked to get better, to be more confident in the calls, more confident in the communication. Really took some great steps as spring progressed, and you just see that confidence that's really emerged throughout the course of the summer work. He's in remarkable shape, has done a great job in his physical development, has put on great weight, and I think he's got a chance to be a really special player in our defensive backfield. We've all got to see him, and have seen him play in ACC contest and play at a very high level, and I think he's about to take his game to a whole nother level, here in Tallahassee.
Keep your focus right there, just one row forward.
Coach, Joey Palermo, WQLU 90.9 The Light. Every game with Florida State, there's always going to be a lot of hype around it. There's going to be a lot of buzz around the team. But how do you turn that hype into focusing on the field from your players?
Well, I mean, it's exciting to be a football player at FSU, and there comes great expectations. There comes great excitement. There's nothing like running through the tunnel going out there at Doak Campbell Stadium, but it's about what we do. It's about the work that we put in and how we prepare, and then it's maximizing every play. You never know which play in the game as a chance to be the one, or the one that flips the momentum, or the one that is going to be looked back upon. And so you got to approach all of them the same way. And we try to emphasize that throughout the course of our off season and our training and our spring and fall camps. I mean, those are the lessons that you have to prepare yourself for. And you look back a season ago, and we took some great steps as a team. We had some really positive experiences, and we had some games where we came up short for a variety of different reasons. And to be able to learn from those, you've got to be able to pour all that you have into it. And so, I want energy, I want passion, I want intensity, but I want focus. And for these guys to go play up to the ability and the potential that they have, I mean, it takes it all. And I think our guys embrace that.
Keep it right there. The gentleman right next to him.
Coach Norvell, Jesse Coger from PlantTheSpear.com. I'm actually going to pivot on my original question because I saw, you can't see it now, but you have the Bobby Bowden logo on the tie. Can you just speak to why it's important, the relationship that you have with him? You've developed the team high GPA, the Seminoles Scholar Program, the off-the-field work you see with Jordan and then Dylan Gibbons last year. Just speak about why it's important to you to build this program the right way, the way it was built originally.
Because that is the standard at Florida State. And we had the greatest example in, I think in collegiate football history of being able to sustain success. And what Coach Bowden and that staff and those great teams, what they were able to accomplish, it was, there were tremendous players on the field, but it was also the standard and expectations for who they were developing and growing to be off the field. And I've got a great responsibility, leading this program. I was fortunate to be able to meet Coach Bowden when, within those first couple months of getting the job, and I'll never forget sitting down with him at my desk and in that office, and he remember telling me, he said, "Be true to who you are, and you continue to make an impact on those young men, helping them to where they're going." And that's a daily challenge, and I owe it to him. I owe it to his legacy to make sure we're doing this a certain way, and because I fully believe success is coming, and we took some positive steps last year. We had our 25th 10-win season, a lot of great things. But when we achieve it, I want to be able to sustain it, and it's because of who we get to coach and what we represent. Being a Seminole, and Coach Bowden was a special man, a special leader, and he had some incredible teams that he got to be a part of, impacting those players' lives, and that still carries on today with those individuals, and obviously in his legacy.
To your left, front row.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. The culture pillars for you with this program, just what you've been building here, like you said, moving towards success and sustaining that success. What are some of those pillars that you can lean on as you step forward?
For us, it comes down to our core values. It's service, sacrifice, and respect. I want to be around a team that serves each other. That's really willing to give of themselves, and you see that with our guys, and the impact that they make within the community, the impact they make, building the relationships, because everybody comes from a different place. We all come together to play, to compete for championships, to push ourselves to be the best that we can, but also the willingness to be able to do it along with somebody, and to serve others, to make an impact, to leave your legacy on what that is. You talk about the sacrifice. I want a team that's willing to sacrifice for ultimately what we desire. Everybody talks, right now you got every team in the ACC, every team across the country is talking about a championship. I want a team that's willing to sacrifice for what we say we desire. Every one of these young men, we all dream of success, but it takes the work. It takes the commitment. It takes, the discipline to be able to take those steps every single day to consistently, be who you want to be. And then, obviously a program that, that shows respect. Shows respect to those that have come before us, and obviously make sure that in all of our actions that we're respectable, and that's what we strive for. And with trying to focus on those core values on a daily basis, it's important to us. And I believe that all the things that we've done off the field, you see, the team best GPA, in program history, right? I'd love to say all of our players just love academics, but they love pushing to be their best. And when you see that show up, I think that helps carry over to what we do on the field. And the willingness to work, the willingness to make themselves uncomfortable, the willingness to give a little bit more than what sometimes they even think they can. And I think that's where the confidence is built, and that's what we're pushing for, is we're trying to take another step along our journey to where we're going.
We've got 4.5 minutes left with Coach. We'll get as many in as we can. To the right side, fourth row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Coach, this team has high expectations externally and all that good stuff, but what are the core areas that you would say, if we are successful in this area or these few areas, that will be the linchpin of whether or not we look back on this season and say, this Florida State team reached their ceiling or they languished around the floor. This is the area of why we were what we were.
I mean, I think it comes down to improvement, and it's program-wide, it's all areas, and then being consistent in that. As you look back to a year ago, there were 10 times we stepped on the field and saw a lot of success in those. But then there were times that we weren't as consistent as we needed to be. Whether it was a certain situation, things that showed up throughout the course of the game. As we return a very experienced team, it's one that has a lot of competition. We've got great players that have been on the roster, that have been productive, and we've had wonderful players that have joined the roster. And seeing that come together so that we and consistently showing up daily, getting better, at the little things, being a fundamentally based team, being able to go out there and showcase all the wonderful abilities that our guys have. I mean, I think that consistency is going to be critical. With each game that we play here this year and building up to the opportunity that we have.
Right side, standing in the very back.
Coach Norvell, Aslan Hajavandi, warchant.com. You're really fortunate to have 3 starters coming back to your roster. What have you kind of cultivated, though, to maintain your coaching staff, and how fortunate are you that you continue to have that continuity with your coaches, and how thankful are you for that?
No, I mean, I think it's critical, and it's one of the things that within our program we've needed. We needed to have that consistency, the continuity, being able to have a staff that is able to pour into our players, and they understand the expectation. Because every year is going to be different, and we've had, there has been some movement and guys that have gotten, great opportunities, in advancing their careers. But we've been able to keep the core of it, there in place. And I think, for our players, to have that relationship, to be able to build upon that, understanding expectation, it's been huge. And I'm grateful for our staff, grateful for our administration for helping support, and having a program that's going to be able to support our coaches and they see that not only the enjoyment of showing up every day coaching these guys, but also the opportunity for their development, for their growth. And we've seen guys like Alex Atkins, who was been promoted through Tony Tokar, same thing, Randy Shannon, different guys that have worked through the program and put themselves in great positions. And I'm just grateful for the guys I get to work with and the impact that they make.
Coach, your last question quickly will come from the right side.
Hey, Mike. Chris Heidel from Purpose Radio in Baltimore. Talk about the two-headed monster in the running game. That took off right after the Clemson game, and just you guys kept running and running and running. Is that one of those things you got to work on and keep that going?
Yeah, we want to be an offense that obviously is able to establish the run in each game, and that's something that it's always a challenge. But we've got great players that allow that to become our reality. I think that you look at the offensive line and the growth that they've had, even some of the new additions that have come in. I mean, I think that's got a chance to be one of the most experienced and deepest positions on our football team. And then you throw in our running backs, obviously quarterbacks, receivers. Everybody plays a role and a part of being able to establish the run game, and it's something that has to show up for us. But we think that can be a great strength of this football team as we jump into the season.